Being able to do well in high school without having to put in much effort is actually a big disadvantage later in life. Never learned how to take notes or study in high school. Still didn't take notes in college but got a little better about studying. Still don't take notes at my job but don't need to. I'm currently taking finals in my 3rd year of college and I still don't know how to take good notes. I have 0 notes from any classes this semester. But I also have 3 A's so I won't learn my lesson. This was my biggest problem. When I did try taking notes they were pretty useless. Either the professor moved too fast to take notes as detailed as I needed and I missed the content of a lecture, or L took notes too sparse to get anything out of them. I never managed to solve this, and even today I just memorize everything. No kidding. College was a rude awakening for me. I struggled to buckle down and study, since I'd never had to study before. The pace surprised me, even though I had a top-notch public K-12 education. For me it's not necessarily the learning, it's the fucking workload. The pace was really surprising to me. My college physics course started from the same spot that my HS course did, but zoomed through all of the material I had learned in a full year in high school in about 3 weeks, then continued at that pace for the rest of the semester. Counterpoint. Being naturally smart is way better than struggling with basic high school concepts for your ability to learn trajectory. Yeah, but if regular high school classes are too easy one should take harder classes or dual enroll at a community college until they are appropriately challenged. What'll get ya is failing to learn how to manage difficulty due to lack of exposure to appropriately challenging material. Almost 50 here. Breezed through high school in math and science. Had to study a bit for history and other memory-based subjects, but overall didn't have problems. Got salutatorian, full ride to local university in engineering. Did okay in college. Had to study most subjects, got a little lazy at times, ended with a 3.2 GPA. Went to graduate school, tried hard, got a 3.8 GPA. Been working for NASA for over 25 years. Still rarely have a fucking clue WTF I'm doing. I feel like a large part of this still rarely have a fucking clue WTF I'm doing is actually there's still so much I don't know. I feel like for some people who excel easily in topics, they focus on what they don't know or what they do poorly rather than their relative performance. Tell me about it. I didn't study at all and still got an A. Tries music lessons. Why don't my fingers remember how to play this? I studied 2 whole days. I play bass for 5 years every day. Still can't play anything longer than 10 seconds before I screw up something. I've been trying to learn guitar for 3 weeks and I just got Happy Birthday down. I can't really play anything other than the low E string without being sloppy AF. I agree with this. I did just fine in HS without really trying and I didn't learn about grit or dedication until I almost flunked out of college the following year. I remember the most from the classes that challenged me more. I feel as though I'm the only one in this comment section that had the opposite experience. High school was very difficult for me and I spent most of my summer in school making up credits. I even took the 12th grade a second time to get my grades up. College, however, was a breeze and I was easily cranking out 90% plus without putting in any effort. Eventually I got bored and stopped going to classes and instead spent all day at the bar or hanging out with friends. The only time I went to class was for exams, otherwise I'd just pop in to get the relevant course materials and dates for the day and then promptly leave. This is why as a parent you're supposed to reward effort, not results, with the idea that the former will impact the later. That way if a kid sails through high school, or anything, really, they won't be discouraged later in life when things are suddenly difficult. This hit hard. Straight as until the real classes in high school. I graduated a year ago and I'm applying for colleges next fall because I felt like too much of a loser to apply. The term grit is so real. I never realized through all of my childhood why my friends had to get parental help with homework that I'd done in class. It is so hard for me to work sometimes and I DK if this is what everyone else goes through but it's unbelievably difficult for stuff that physically isn't demanding. I crawled blindfolded through high school, highest honors. I'm currently dragging my body through college. Wake up call. My older brother worked his butt off to get B's in high school, and watched with jealousy as I cakewalked through school getting A's in all of the advanced classes. After he was at college for a couple years, he warned me that I needed to learn how to study properly while in high school or I would be fucked in college. He watched several really smart people hit a wall in their abilities and either fail out or drop out because they never had to work for grades before. He was right. I coasted through 2 years of college before I hit my wall and ended up switching to an easier major. Meanwhile, he chugged through college and med school, working his ass off like the little train that could. Now he's a doctor that works every other week and I'm just some grunt in a cubicle. Don't underestimate the importance of discipline and determination. I got to French 3 honors by sophomore year. I barely knew any French. I quit after that year because I knew I couldn't keep the charade up any longer. Never got anything lower than a B, I think. If I had wake-up calls in college, I'd have done far better. Your peers in high school don't want to be there. Your peers in college pay good money to be there. Oh yeah. Never had to try to pass through high school. Graduated, got to university and got a rude awakening. My work ethic is slowly getting there, but I was definitely stunted in that area. Same. College was a real struggle for me. I was so used to naturally doing well. I had previously, incorrectly, associated studying with not being as smart. Good to know I'm not alone. High school was a breeze academically, and I still did fairly well. College was a swift kick in the junk till I figured out how to study and train my brain, and I still suck at it comparatively. This was me 30 still working on improving my work ethic and a real job, yet here I am on Reddit. So many people just aren't ready for everything that college brings, myself included. It's not only work ethic, but time management, focus, etc. Skating by in high school and not really understanding what's coming was a recipe for disaster for me. I took time off, eventually graduated, and I'm doing fine now. But 18-year-old me couldn't handle it. Conversely, many people struggle through high school out of laziness and flourish in college. The US public school system is fucking terrible, awarding blind work and not actual knowledge, while college much more accurately shows who deserves the success they have. Wait until you discover that social networking, not the quality or quantity of your actual work product, is the primary force shaping your economic destiny. College was a breeze compared to high school, because I could stick to programming, physics, math. I took all honors app classes in high school though, so I was kind of used to the way that workload works. I loved the openness of scheduling. I can see 4 people that just went through basic education having trouble adapting though. Change in the way teaching works combined with the temptation of constantly partying. I had many a friend drop out because they partied too hard and got all CS and ES in classes. My doctors wrongly took me off ADD meds my last year of high school, and I'm only just starting the ghost of the process needed to get more again. Community college was easy, but then after a year at university, I know I could do most of my hard classes, but I'd get too distracted and scared a lot of the time. Been failing even some easy classes. Student debt is fun too. I'm a dropout doctor now, quit high school, got GED, BS, and PhD, still don't really have a great work ethic. It feels like it might have been easier to develop back in high school when nothing really mattered. If I ever have kids, I'm probably going to be more of a hard ass about studying and making sure my kids have something challenging to do even if the schools can't. Or at least, I'd like to think I will, only time will tell if my work ethic is up to it by then. Graduated uni with a first class honors, UK it's like 80% marks, without trying either. Work life is a bitch. Just wait until you're out of college. It happens again. I graduated college 7 years ago. Work ethic is still a struggle, though I really can't blame HS for this one. Can remember where I first read the quote, but, you know how when you'd fall down on a trampoline but no one else would stop jumping so you can't get back up? Being an adult like that but all the time. Really? My life became the easiest it ever was once I graduated college. In high school and college, you've got classes, homework, any clubs, co-curriculars, a part-time job, and with any luck, a social life. Post-college, a 40-hour work week seemed like a breeze. I still don't know what to do with all my time when I have an easy week of work. I'm sure having children would change this, but post-college adult life was instantly way easier. I think it depends on the major. I graduated with a degree in computer science, and now work as the lead developer for a medium-sized company. My job's difficulties don't hold a candle to what I went through in college. Part of it is experience, yes, but I find the pace to be much less demanding too. I would imagine degree job combos with a more client-facing skill set to be much more difficult post-college. Yeah, high school was not a struggle, but neither was college. Working, you can't breeze half-ass your way through just getting shit done. Also, no matter how smart you think you are in college, when you get into a decent job in a field you like, there are people who are just as damn smart as you are, or smarter, and willing to work their asses off. And there are no grades. Whoever does a better job tends to win. Sometimes that's just sheer hours. Not exactly the same. More like the dumb people who had to work hard run the world, so they choose to force you to work hard even though it's not really required to complete the tasks. Most of my work requires no brain power, so I just sit around on Reddit all day shitposting. Still getting 6 figs lol. Felt like a fucking genius in high school. Now I feel really stupid in college. I gotta develop studying habits and actually put in effort now. I'm in my first set of final exams and I seriously hate myself. I got straight A's and never studied for a single test in high school. I have no clue how to even start being better at this shit. College was literally the first time I started studying, wound up flunking out and then going back years later, but for something that didn't require studying. I just think different people are built for different kinds of learning. It's a shame we throw all sorts of different people through a grinder and assume they will all come out the same. Try using the Pomodoro technique. I have found it really helpful in gradually being able to study every night after work. Once you put in at least one 25-minute session, you'll find you're more willing to do 1 to 2 more sessions. The worst part for me is watching my friends, who used to joke that I was smarter than them, finishing college and getting high-paying, long-term career type jobs while I'm still working for minimum, trying for the 3rd time to finish a college course. My best buddy not only finished nursing school and started working in that field, but he's also just finished courses and got signed on for firefighting. So he's 2 life-saving jobs in and I'm still working in the same kitchen we both were working at 8 years ago. Sucks, but I'm finally passing this time, and I'm pretty sick of feeling like I'm spinning my wheels, so 3rd time's the charm. Opposite opinion. Learning how to find the minimal effort required to get out the maximum result, A's, is one of the most valuable skills I have in my current job. I came here to say this. I didn't work hard. Instead, I read the syllabus grading policy for all my classes and then proceeded to do the bare minimum to get an A vocab tests every Friday, worth 5% of my final grade. Some students spent hours studying for them. Why? Followed the same policy in college, same results. Took that policy once again to my career, same results. I'm stress-free every day. Feels good. And I learned that in high school. Congrats on mastering the 80/20 principle. I never had to try for A's in high school or college, and now that I'm 30, I've still yet to come to a situation professionally where I struggle to understand concepts or keep up. There was no rude awakening and I'm nearly at the top of my career path. Maybe software development is just a far easier field to be in than average, or because I've been at it since I've been 16, but I doubt it. Being reasonably smart, lazy, and competent at your job is a hell of a combination for getting paid a lot to do almost nothing. Also, communication plays no small part. I have to agree. I never had trouble with high school or college that wasn't related to wanting to sleep more. I slept through out of college classes that made me fail the class on attendance basis. I've definitely found working smarter, not harder, to be the golden rule. Yay for it, for giving me the perfect easy path. Completely agree. It's one of those things that you can't really talk about without sounding like an ass. I never had to put in that much effort in high school and ended up being valedictorian, since I could use the time I wasn't studying to pursue tangential things I was interested in and get ahead of my material. Not to mention I had time to be captain of X and president of Y. Then everyone told me that college would be a wake-up call. Nope. Graduated with 4 different honors distinctions and never found myself having to really try, unlike some of my friends who would have to study for hours. And I still had time to party and read for pleasure and generally have a life. You just find the balance between grades and effort. Was it worth it to always try to get a perfect score on an exam? Hell no. Now that I'm working full time, where I have to have a lot of things done at a high quality in a short amount of time, it's still a breeze. My bosses like me because I don't get frazzled over huge projects with quick turnaround. I was lucky that I had a supportive environment growing up, that I'm intrinsically motivated, and that I just seem to get things. But every time someone has warned that there would be a huge wake-up call for not studying or not putting in 110% in everything, it hasn't happened. Congratulations for making it till the end. Please smash that like and subscribe button for 1 million years of good lucks.